Look, I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row here. The President of the United States, you know, the same man who's currently facing 88 felony charges, tried to buy Greenland, and also thinks stealth planes are invisible, is now accepting a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar. Welcome to America in 2025, people! However you want, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Trump is calling this luxury jet a gift, as if it's a scented candle he just got from his neighbor, and not a 13-year-old Boeing 747 from a foreign government with deep ties to terrorism and surveillance concerns. Yeah, because that's totally normal. Girl, what the gobsmacking, dilly-dallying fuck are we doing here? Mind you, he's saying that taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for a new Air Force One when Qatar is offering one up for free. Except, and oh, who could have seen this coming? It's not free! It will cost us over $1 billion to make sure that it has secure communications, proper missile defense system, and maybe, I don't know, strip out potential spyware. And why is Trump doing this? Oh, because he wants to look fancy on the tarmac. He actually, and I'm gonna paraphrase here, doubled down when people were like, hey, we're a bit concerned with you taking a luxury jet from Qatar. And he responded by essentially saying, ours is old and theirs is new. I want the prettier one. Sir, you are the President of the United States. We are not on CBS's game show. Let's make a deal. Trump also suggested having it transferred to a nonprofit organization like the President's Library. And what I want to know is, do you mean the presidential library you'll probably be building inside of a casino in Dubai next to a wax museum of dictators? Let's also not forget that accepting a gift from any foreign government requires congressional approval. That's in the Constitution. You know, the thing Trump uses as a coaster for his Diet Coke. And of course he's cozying up to Qatar. His resort deal just went through there. His friends are lobbying for them. His Department of Justice is stacked with people who used to work for them, like Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Also, whoever published this photo of Kash Patel, the motherfucker looks like he's experiencing shell shock. We also got Steve Witkoff. This isn't diplomacy. Countries have just realized to get on Trump's good side, all you have to do is kiss his ass. You cannot say that accepting this plane is a form of putting America first when you're literally flying around in a foreign-funded plane that doubles as a national security threat. So when Trump says only a stupid person would turn down a free plane, maybe remind him, a smart person wouldn't sell out their country for more legroom and in-flight caviar. By the way, I know sometimes my content doesn't reach everyone on here, so make sure to go follow me on Instagram because I post everything cross-platform to Instagram Reels. So Kristi Noem wants to turn immigration into a fucking game show. You heard me. A fucking game show. Kristi, you have a lot of audacity for somebody who looks like a Botox scarecrow. Your face is pulled so tight it's practically trying to flee the country itself. Now, I'm not trying to insinuate that you're made of plastic, but what I am saying is if I held a lighter next to your face, it would start melting off. The show, and I use the word show very loosely, has immigrants arrived to Ellis Island on something called the citizenship. They then ride a train called the American and compete in state-themed obstacle courses. Yes, truly, what better way to exploit the immigrant experience than by deporting someone for losing a fucked up game show? Oh, but don't worry, if you lose, you don't just get deported. You get a $10,000 Starbucks gift card and a life supply of gasoline. Because if you can't have freedom, at least you have fossil fuels and coffee that tastes like fossil fuels. This country is a fucking joke. People are fleeing war, famine, cartels, regimes, and this bitch wants people to balance on logs and build rockets to earn citizenship. And while she swears she's not involved and has nothing to do with this game show idea, let's be fucking for real, if the show got greenlit, she would be front and center. She already looks like someone trying to 3D print Marjorie Taylor Greene from memory while drunk, and it's clear that you've both got more filler than a chicken nugget from McDonald's. This isn't immigration reform. It's a fucked up fraternity rush recruitment dressed up in red, white, and blue sequins. Kristi, if you are this desperate for attention, might I suggest going back to shooting campaign ads in front of prisons and blowing kisses at Trump's feet? But leave immigrants out of your fucked up dystopian TV pitch. They deserve safety, not a reality TV show. And you deserve a mirror and a refund on your face. You know, I was already losing my shit and crashing out over the war, bird flu, fascism, that new disease killing people in Congo within 24 hours, rent going up, a recession, eggs being $8 a carton. But this? I am not fucking with this one at all. Scientists are predicting the impending eruption of a deep-sea volcano off the coast of Oregon called Axial Seamount, and this impending eruption will trigger thousands of earthquakes, potentially reaching 10,000 earthquakes in a span of 24 hours. Why? Oh, just because the volcano is located in an area with two massive tectonic plates that are constantly separating apart. And the best part about all of this is scientists are literally saying, yeah, the volcano can erupt in 2026 or like tomorrow. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll just cancel my plans and wait for Satan's jacuzzi to boil me from below. 10,000 earthquakes in 24 hours. 10,000? Baby, that's not geology. That's the gates of hell opening up. But get this, for some reason, scientists have decided to live stream the eruption. The ocean could have literally split open like a microwave Hot Pocket, and scientists are over here like, make sure to like and follow. Also, don't forget the ring light. So yeah, if this volcano blows and a whole bunch of earthquakes start happening, I'm putting on my finest nightgown and walking into the ocean like Moana with a death wish. Hey, yeah, quick question. When the world's leading experts in fascism start fleeing our country, should we, maybe, I don't know. Take that as a fucking sign? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. 3 Yale professors, Marcy Jones, Jason Stanley, and Timothy, hi, I wrote the manual on tyranny Snyder, just packed up their tenures and dipped to Canada like they were fleeing Nazi Germany. They said in an interview, and I quote, "We're like people on the Titanic saying our ship can't sink. There is no such thing as a ship that can't sink." They're literally in talks of setting up and building resistance hubs in Toronto like this is the fucking Hunger Games. Resistance hubs! Jason Stanley said he didn't want to raise his kids in a fascist dictatorship. Meanwhile, some of you dumbasses are out here like, but Trump can't be a fascist. He's too dumb. Babe, that's the point! You know who everyone else said the same exact thing about? Hitler and Mussolini. And spoiler, they didn't need a 4.0 GPA to turn their countries into a nightmare fucking hellscape. Let's break this down. Federal judges in the US are being threatened. Universities are being investigated and defunded. Students are being detained. ICE has been breaking into homes and kidnapping people. And DEI is being obliterated as we speak. The Trump administration is literally following Nazi policies. They're forcing all institutions to align with state ideology or they get crushed. And you're thinking, oh, but America's different. Okay, and I'm sure that iceberg thought the Titanic was gonna swerve. Timothy Snyder said the real danger is Americans thinking we're immune because we're actively watching the word freedom be redefined as silence, submission, and surveillance. You're not defending democracy, you're paving the way for fascism. This is your emergency alert. If the experts in fascism are packing their shit and fleeing the country, maybe before you start commenting on what they've done as being paranoid or radical leftist lunatics, you put your phone down, shut the fuck up, and listen. Or don't, but don't act surprised when all the lifeboats are gone. All right, everyone, it's pop quiz time, and your question is, what is habeas corpus? Don't worry, I'll give you some time to think. If you said, it's the rule where if the government locks you up, you're allowed to ask why, and if they can't give you a valid reason why, they have to let you go. Congrats! You passed the 5th fucking grade. If you said, it's a presidential right to deport people, then you, my friend, are Christy fucking Nome. The United States Secretary of Homeland Security, everyone! Hi, everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! Somehow, Christy Nome was running Homeland Security without even knowing how to run a simple Google search. Because when asked to define habeas corpus, she said, and I quote, "It's the constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country." Girl, that's like saying freedom of speech is the presidential right to put duct tape over your mouth. And her team doubled down. They were like,
well, actually, presidents have suspended habeas corpus before, like Lincoln, FDR.
Right, but those happened during wars. Not because Tucker Carlson mentioned a Venezuelan street gang in a Fox News special. Here's what's happening. Christy Nome, Trump, and Stephen Miller, a man who looks like Nosferatu incarnate, are floating the idea of suspending habeas corpus to speed up deportations. That means detaining immigrants with no trial, no lawyer, no chance to say, hey, I'm not a part of a gang. No, they just get kicked out of the country. And shocker, the Supreme Court had to step in and block it because you can't just deport a whole bunch of Venezuelan immigrants within a 24-hour notice. Like, bitch, you're fully ignoring the Constitution. And the cherry on top, when asked what part of the Constitution says who can suspend habeas corpus, Christy Nome said, I don't know. I want to make you all aware that this isn't just Christy Nome failing a basic constitutional quiz. This is the Trump administration showing us time and time again that they want to turn legal rights into optional guidelines, especially for immigrants. They're fast-tracking deportations, detaining detaining people with no due process, and literally trying to suspend the right to challenge that in court. So moral of the story, Kristi Noem is dangerously fucking stupid, and somehow she's our Secretary of Homeland Security. By the way, if you don't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post all my content cross-platform to Instagram Reels, so just in case you miss anything over here, at least you have another way to view my content.
Well, I don't think that we should be together. And I've thought about it a lot, and this is what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna keep pursuing what I'm pursuing. And because I'm doing that...
Well, it looks like you no longer need a Hulu subscription to watch The Handmaid's Tale anymore. Just book a flight to Georgia and you can watch it all unfold in real time. A 30-year-old nurse, Adriana Smith, was declared brain dead over 3 months ago. She's still on life support, though. Why? Because she's pregnant. This isn't some dystopian fiction. This is Georgia's abortion law in action. And what's even more terrifying is this exact same scenario happens in season 3, episode 9 of The Handmaid's Tale. Down to the details. A handmaid, someone forced to give birth, loses too much blood, she's declared brain dead, and the state keeps her body alive just to use it as an incubator. This is no longer just a dystopian concept. This is Georgia's law. Adriana had blood clots in her brain. Her family says the hospital ignored her symptoms. They didn't do a CT scan and then discharged her with meds. The next morning, she collapsed and was pronounced brain dead. And now, Georgia's so-called heartbeat law has turned her body into state property. Because she's not at risk anymore, she's just dead. But not dead enough for the law. Doctors are legally required to keep her body breathing against her family's wishes until the fetus, which is currently 21 weeks old, reaches viability at 32 weeks. That's 11 more weeks of machines, trauma for her family, and escalating hospital bills. And who's gonna pay for those bills? The state? And this is all for a fetus that doctors are already saying might not even survive. The fetus has fluid in the brain, so when he's born, he can be born stillborn, he might be wheelchair bound, he might be blind. But none of that matters to the lawmakers who wrote the heartbeat law. Because choice was never the point. Under normal circumstances, the family, or Adriana's own medical wishes, would guide this decision. This isn't a miracle. This is a medically enforced hostage situation. Her body isn't hers anymore. It belongs to the state. All because a handful of extremist men want to play God. The same state who let her walk out of a hospital with no CT scans, with doctors who didn't listen to her, are now demanding her corpse be left viable and functioning for 4 more months. Governor Brian Kemp and the lawmakers who passed this law, they should be forced to sit with Adriana's family every single day and explain why their daughter's death is now a political stunt. Let's stop pretending this is about life. It's about power. It's about punishment. It's about stripping women, especially black women, of dignity, autonomy, and peace. So no, this isn't an episode of The Handmaid's Tale. This is America in 2025. I need you all to understand how off the fucking rails this is. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey, an elected official on public property in his own fucking city, was arrested by masked federal ICE agents. Why? Because he tried to attend an ICE facility inspection. He literally stepped outside to join some peaceful protesters and then got snatched like he was El Chapo. What is going on? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Mayor Ross Baraka was with 3 Democratic Congress members, all of whom were trying to shield him from being handcuffed by ICE like he was smuggling nuclear launch codes, not standing outside of a jail that doesn't even have a valid occupancy permit. That's right, the detention center, Delaney Hall, run by private prison leeches over at the GEO group. They haven't updated their permits in 20 years. And now, thanks to Trump's new contract, it's back open and locking immigrants again, illegally, without proper inspection, zoning, or basic humanity. And when the mayor tried to make sure that the fire alarms weren't made out of cardboard and the plumbing worked in this facility, I said, you know what? Let's arrest him. Not the people violating city laws. Not the people operating without a license. The mayor. And it gets worse because hours before this happened, Stephen Miller, the same man who said that separating children from their parents was a simple decision, went on national TV and floated the idea of suspending habeas corpus, the constitutional protection that says the government can't disappear you into a random jail cell without charges or a trial. They're talking about treating immigration like war, calling immigrants invaders so they can legally justify throwing out due process. Let me spell this out for you. The U.S. government arrested an elected mayor for enforcing local laws, then turned around and said, maybe we'll get rid of due process entirely. That's not democracy. That's dictatorship with a press release. And the worst part, they're doing this out in the open. Masked ICE agents snatching up mayors while Trump's lawyers are threatening the Constitution. You don't need a history degree to see where this is going. In Nazi Germany, they started detaining people in temporary holding centers, aka Delaney Hall. They also made it illegal to inspect facilities. They also arrested elected officials for interfering. And they also justified it all by claiming national security and invasion. This isn't hypothetical. This is happening. And if they'll do it to the mayor of Newark, they'll do it to anyone. You know how the price of everything keeps going up and it's forced half the U.S. population to start eating bowls of ice cubes for dinner? Well, now Congress wants to make it worse. Woohoo! And I don't just mean oopsies inflation worse. No, we're talking about gutting clean energy, healthcare, and food assistance. Why? Oh, so billionaires can add more yachts to their collections. Our government is out here playing a board game of Monopoly with everybody's utilities. They're voting to slash clean energy funding. You know, the thing that keeps our air breathable, our energy bills affordable, and creates hundreds of thousands of jobs. And they're doing this through something called reconciliation, which is just a fancy way of saying, we're gonna fuck the economy sideways. These budget cuts will jack up energy bills, completely wipe out jobs, cut Medicaid and the SNAP program, and somehow still fund tax breaks for billionaires who use $100 bills as coasters. This isn't cute. This isn't bipartisan. This is a choice between letting the planet breathe and people live with dignity, or helping billionaires by matching gold helipads. They're voting this week, and we need to speak up now before it's too late. So text Spencer to 43464 right now to put our representatives in their fucking place before this vote on Thursday. Tell them, do not cut clean energy, do not raise our bills, do not make us choose between groceries and Wi-Fi, and maybe don't fuck with us. They want to use our tax dollars to fund billionaires. Meanwhile, people can't even afford insulin or inhalers. Not on my watch. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We aren't even asking for much here. Just clean air, clean water, access to healthcare and food, and an energy bill that doesn't make us want to take a bath with a toaster. Again, please text Spencer to 43464, because if this bill passes, the only place we'll be able to charge our phones is at the local Taco Bell so our electricity bills don't go up. Oh, cool. You guys want to know what I'm most excited about this year? Being able to exchange canned non-perishable food for my rent. The International Monetary Fund and JP Morgan are tag teaming all of us and basically letting everybody know that we're screwed.
Yay!
Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. So JP Morgan raised the odds of the US entering a recession in 2025 to 60%. Not because of natural disasters or like a freak market collapse. No, actually because Donald Trump woke up and was like, what would happen if I just burn global trade? We've got a 145% tariff on China, a universal 10% tariff on literally every other country. That jacks up the US average tariff rate to 30%, the highest since World War II, and equals $1 trillion tax hike, which is basically a fancy way for saying we're all gonna be paying for this shit out of pocket. And now the IMF, which is basically the world's emergency money doctor, stepped in. They help other countries when their economy's struggling, and they try to stop global markets from collapsing. And they're now like, your recession risk just went from 25% to straight to 40%. If the IMF is saying a recession is coming, that is a red flag for everyone, and it should set off alarms letting everybody know a recession is coming. Global stability? Oh, girl. They're warning of financial instability worldwide. And they're saying the economic cost of all of this could exceed the 2008 financial crisis. Over $5.7 trillion in lost gross domestic product. All because we have a president with a trade war fetish and zero understanding of modern economics. But wait, there's more. Consumer sentiment has dropped 4 months in a row, which basically means the average American right now is like, am I gonna have to sell a kidney for a carton of eggs? And if you're like, oh, well, maybe it won't be that bad. The World Economic Forum has already said that this kind of trade chaos could literally be worse than the Great Recession. So yeah, this isn't just a recession warning. It's a full-blown economic crisis. Tariffs aren't protecting us. They're quite literally suffocating the fuck out of us. So apparently, America took one good look at the humanitarian crisis we currently have at our borders, the broken asylum system, as well as detention camps, and said, what if, and hear me out here, we turn that into a game show. I'm sorry. Am I having a fucking stroke? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Welcome to America, where immigrants compete in patriotic challenges like gold panning, rocket launching, and clam digging. Because nothing screams you belong here like exploiting the immigrant experience. And the producer behind this fucked up mess? Just the same man responsible for Duck Dynasty, Dating Naked, Millionaire Matchmaker. Sir? What the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to conduct a psychological experiment to see how far you can push the American public before we all snap? Now, Rob is saying that the show will humanize immigrants as they're paraded around the country on an Amtrak train doing state-themed challenges. Because what better way to honor people that are fleeing violence, poverty, war, and persecution than by handing them a GoPro and telling them to speed run a Ford factory in Detroit? But don't worry, the losers won't only be deported, but they'll also be losing a public contest that has already stripped them of their humanity on national television. Oh yeah, and a Starbucks gift card. And the winners? Oh, they get U.S. citizenship, a Starbucks gift card, and 1 million airline miles. That way, they can fly first class into this burning landfill we call the United States. And the Department of Homeland Security is actually considering this. Because why enforce the law when you can monetize off of trauma and call it patriotism? This isn't funny. This isn't cute. This is the dystopian fever dream of a reality TV obsessed government that has completely stopped viewing immigrants as people. They're turning asylum seekers into entertainment content and pitching it like they're pitching a new season of The fucking Bachelor. But are we surprised? Our president literally had the reality TV show The Apprentice. We are mere inches away from this country creating a reality TV show about celebrating the journey of American citizenship. You want to celebrate the immigrant experience? Try passing immigration reform instead of making a goddamn obstacle course. If this show actually gets greenlit, we are doomed as a nation. Hey, just out of curiosity, what the fuck is this? I would just like to know what the fuck we did. Israel's out here talking about taking unilateral actions. For what? Because France might recognize Palestine? Now all of a sudden, Norway, Spain, and the entire United Nations is on Israel's hit list? Unilateral actions? Against who, bitch? Against who? Iceland? Look, I didn't do shit. If you got beef with Trump, here's the address. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., zip code 20500. If you have qualms with anybody, deal with that motherfucker. Cause babe, the White House address is free with a quick Google search. But while I'm here, let's get something straight. Israel keeps saying that recognizing Palestine is rewarding terrorism because of Hamas, but actually, it's the exact opposite. It's not a reward. It's a reaction to you carpet bombing innocent civilians for 8 months fucking straight. This isn't the world giving Hamas a gold star. It's the world finally saying, hey, maybe the people being starved, bombed, and displaced deserve human rights. You can't bulldoze international law and then act shocked when everyone else is like, hey, maybe the people getting ethnically cleansed don't deserve that, and we should recognize them as a state. You're threatening 150 countries as if this is a Real Housewives reunion and you just found out that someone was talking shit about you in a confessional. Girl, no, we're not doing this with you. You're not the only democracy in the Middle East. You're just the loudest one with nukes and a persecution complex. Also, if your idea of peace is global intimidation, maybe, and hear me out here, you're the fucking problem. You dumb fucking bitches. You dumb silly fucking bitches. Ed and Lorraine Warren gave you hookers one fucking rule, and that rule was to not move Annabelle. And what did you dumb motherfuckers do? You moved the bitch! You rolled that nasty, haunted Raggedy Ann doll across the country like she was Taylor Swift during her Eras tour. Now what happened immediately after her tour stopped in Louisiana? Nothing much. Just a 500-year-old antebellum mansion spontaneously combusted, which honestly, I don't give a fuck about. Good fucking riddance. But we also had over in New Orleans 10 violent criminals, like people who were committed for escaped jail, and now there are 7 of them currently on the loose. See, bitch, this is why we can't have nice things. They tell you, hey, maybe don't move the Annabelle doll, and what do? You move the fucking Annabelle doll. Not only did you move her, but they told you to keep her in her special case and you removed her from it. You opened up the fucking case and removed her. Now, the people touring around with Annabelle are saying that it's fine because they built her a new case with holy water, crosses, saint medals, but clearly that doesn't do shit when you remove her from the case. The reason for going on tour with Annabelle was to teach people about items and the occult. My question is, why the fuck didn't a photo suffice? Like, why did you have to take the bitch with you on tour? What are you educating people on? How to let a demon loose in Louisiana? If you're not gonna follow Ed and Lorraine Warren's #1 rule, you might as well actually bring her someplace she'll be of use. And just, off rip here, I think the next best place to go to would either be the White House or Donald Trump's bedroom.